what's up everybody? My name is Trip with Setting and Such here on YouTube, and welcome to my kayak camping gear list video. I just recently finished what was kind of my first kayak camping trip. I did a solo 3-day trip down the Choctawhatchee River. You can check out my video on my YouTube channel, and I had some people asking about what gear did I use, so I figured I would make a gear list video for you all to see. But like I said, this is kind of my first trip, and I learned some things, what gear worked, what gear didn't. So in this video I'm going to show you what all I brought with me, and I have purchased some new gear, some stuff I realized that I needed, and I'm going to show that to you as well. Well, first off, I guess I'll start with my biggest piece of gear, and that would be my kayak. Now, this was my first time in this kayak, and I got this thing off of Craigslist. It's a Wilderness Systems Solution 2. I think it's like about an 87 or a 90. It's a fairly old kayak, but it still works awesome and it looks good. But I got this off Craigslist, like I said, for a great deal, so it didn't cost me much money to kind of get into the sport. But I got my kayak. It's like 16.5 foot long. My paddle, it's a cheap paddle. I think it's like $35 or something. I may want to look into upgrading that sometime in the future. I've got a sponge for getting some water out of the kayak and a little homemade baler out of a Clorox bottle. And also a spray skirt from Walmart. It worked, but a newer one could be nice. And behind the seat here, I put a carabiner so I could attach some dry bags and stuff behind me that I could access during the day. I've been a backpacker and a sailor and into camping and outdoors, you know, most all my life. So I kind of had a lot of this gear. Didn't really have to go out and buy anything special and specific. You know, a lot of the gear that I had and a lot of the gear that you may already have, you can use and just kind of roll over and just transition into kayak camping. All you need is a kayak, something that can hold all the gear. Over here, we'll start with my dry bags. I don't know, some of y'all may recognize these as the cheap ones you can get from Walmart, from Outdoor Products. They're not the greatest. I don't think they're 100% waterproof, but they're good for just holding random stuff, I guess, and keeping it moderately dry. But I use this one for my toiletries and things. I've got soap, toothbrush, toothpaste, Band-Aids, ibuprofen, chapstick, soap, MRE toilet paper, chapstick, matches, a few batteries, and some lemongrass lotion for mosquitoes in there. In here I've got a random Ziploc and some like baby wipe things because it was a little cold, and that's how I stayed clean. Another one of these bags, I would take this one and hook it to the carabiner or in the cockpit behind my seat during the day, so I can put snacks and stuff in there. And here I have another dry bag that I've had for a long time, and this is like the first time I've ever really used it when it was actually keeping things dry. And it's an Against the Elements bag, and it worked well. It's a little big. I don't know. It's maybe like a 20 liter. I'm gonna guess. It's a little large, but it worked just fine. Here I've got a pack towel, just a small pack towel made by MSR. Great towel. I've had it for years. I love it. I didn't really know what to do with gloves. I knew it was going to be cold and I might get wet, so I kind of brought a couple pairs of gloves. These are just some cheap cotton ones, you know, that have been dipped in rubber or whatever. They suck because when they get wet, it's just cotton and it's just horrible. I think I may have worn them for like just a few minutes, and I was like, no, not going to use those ever again. But I brought these fleece ones, you know, the fingerless gloves, and they got the little mitten that goes over the top. These worked well. I don't think I ever tried them while paddling because I don't think they would grip the paddle very well. But they work good around camp, keep my hands warm, and if they ever did get wet, they'd still keep me warm. Here's a little like phone case I got off Amazon before I left, and I put my phone in here and kept it around my neck, and I mean, it kept the phone dry. Only problem was it's a smartphone, and it didn't sense my fingers when I touched the screen. I'm not really sure why, if that was with the phone or the case, but that was a little aggravating. Here's just a little OtterBox case. I think I have my wallet and something else in there. Here's a little medical kit I picked up from Academy before I left. Added a few things to it. It's great. I didn't even open it, I don't think. Here's a old-timer knife, just a good all-around camp knife. Got my little black diamond lantern that I could hang around the ridgeline of my hammock, or just use around camp. Man, this thing is awesome. I love it. It's small, it's not too expensive, and lasts forever. The batteries last a long time. Here I have, it's just an old Frog Togs little bag that the suit came in a long time ago. I've got my cook kit in here. It's just a little stainless steel cheap pot I got from the Walmart. And in here I've got a little alcohol stove and a spork. I didn't even use this alcohol stove. It's like a little cat can stove that I made because I really enjoyed cooking over, like just setting this on the fire over the coals. You can see it's a little black and a little dingy now, but man, it was so nice just to cook as much as I want and heat up hot chocolate or whatever, not to worry about conserving fuel. And inside it came with a little cup. That thing's nice. It was good for some hot chocolate, windscreen, or tin foil for whatever I need it for. But overall, I like this little thing. It was cheap and works. And in here I just had a little water bottle with some denatured alcohol for fuel from my alcohol stove if I needed it. But fortunately I was able to get a fire started whenever I wanted to cook something up. Here I've got my homemade hammock, homemade tree straps, and I actually made these two little stuff sacks too. And in here I have my homemade tarp to go over my hammock. You can see all of that in my video of the camping trip. And I got a little Petzl headlamp. Had this thing for a long time, and I think I maybe used 3 sets of batteries in it, and it works great. You can see the headband's getting a little wore out, but I can still tighten it up and get a few more years out of it, I hope. And I've got my tit stakes for my to stake my tarp out with. Now as we keep going, I've got my little sun hat that I wore one day when the sun was actually out, thank the Lord. Here I've got just a little dry box that I use to put my camera in, and extra batteries, and I think that's about it. I didn't put much in there. And here I've got just some random tripods, cheap from Walmart. Both of these, telescopic little legs. Hey, this thing worked really good though. Both of them did actually. And here I've got another little tripod that's supposed to do something cool, but yeah, it works. Like a little flip action tripod or something. Flip video. It works good whenever I use it, which is very rarely. Here I've got my Camelback, which I kept behind my seat in the cockpit. I could just drink out of Camelback while I was paddling. Didn't have to stop. Here I've got an MSR, just a water bladder. I think this is, oh my goodness, 2.5 liter. I'm not really sure what size this is, but you can kind of see, gauge it with my arm. But that thing worked really awesome. It's collapsible, so it would go down in the bottom of the kayak, and didn't take up room. Whenever I drank the water out of it, it took up less room. So that's awesome. Here's my sleep system. This is an underquilt. I think it's called the Jarbidge or the Jarbridge, but by Arrowhead Equipment. It's like $100 for a good underquilt, because you need an underquilt when you're in a hammock. I like it. It was my first one, first time ever using it. No. Yeah, no. I used it one other time, but it's awesome. Here's my Mountain Hardwear Ultra Laminia 32 degree sleeping bag, and also in here I have a homemade sleeping bag liner made out of silk that I like to get in. Instead of getting in and dirtying up my sleeping bag, I can just dirty up the sleeping bag liner. And here is a Outdoor Research. This is a compression dry sack that I put all 3 of those in, and I'm able to compress them down fairly small and keep them dry. Now here's some of the new cool stuff that I bought that I realized that I needed. First off, probably one of the coolest things and the most expensive thing, unfortunately it's got to be expensive to be cool in this case. It's an external battery pack. This one's made by Rav Power. I haven't used it yet, but great reviews on Amazon, and the company has a lot of other cool stuff that I'd like to use. It's a Rav Power, says iSmart. I don't know much about it, other than it'll charge my camera batteries and my phone battery, and should do it plenty of times. So I don't know. The lights light up. You can tell how much power's left. There you go. See, it's 3/4 full. Got a little flashlight. Turns on. There it is. Turns on. You can plug different things in it, but this thing should be fun to use, and I can keep it in my little dry box thingamajig. And it's got this awesome little padded case, bag to keep it in. Pretty cool. I think I'm going to like that. Then I bought a couple paddle leashes. And I think I may not use those actually, because I've been reading and learning about kayaking, and these can be more dangerous than they can be like helpful. They could get snagged on something and you could drown. So I may not ever use those, except maybe in like a big body of water like the beach or the lake or something. I bought some just random size Night Eyes S beaners. These are pretty sweet because, you know, they got like a beaner on both sides and spring loaded. You can never have enough of those, I realized. I got a deluxe spring head net by Outdoor Research. It's basically like a really goofy mosquito net that goes over your head, but I know that when I go start doing some trips down around the beach and in the summertime, that's going to be very handy. Mosquito and hopefully no-see proof. And also bought this is like a neck sleeve. I don't know what it's really called. I forgot, but it's made to block the sun for you getting sunburnt on your neck and your face. But I'm going to try that out. I remember seeing that down in the Florida Keys when I took my sailing trip down there. All the fishing guys that I saw going by were using that. Check out that video also of mine, solo on a 17-foot sailboat in the Florida Keys for a week. That was awesome. Here I bought 3 dry bags. I know I needed some small dry bags because that other one was pretty big. I got 2 5-liters, which I realized might have been a little small because you see, this is a 5-liter dry bag. In order for a dry bag to work, you have to like roll it up. So by the time you roll it up and then buckle it, there's not a lot there to put. But, you know, I could always loan one out. You know, use one for some small stuff and loan one out to anybody I'm going with or whatever. Oh well. You live and learn. Here I bought a 10-liter dry bag. This is about the right size that I was looking for. Maybe like this, so like a 15 would be good. But these were cheap off of Amazon. Leader Accessories. They had good reviews. They're not quite as expensive as Sea Line and probably not quite as durable, but hey, I'm a weekend warrior, I guess you could call me, when it comes to adventures and stuff. So I don't have to have the best all the time. So, and also this is a sand stake that I found on the beach, actually on a sandbar, and I realized that I need to buy some new ones. So this is one thing I haven't got yet, but I need some sand stakes, and those little beach stakes I have didn't hold real good in the sand. Now, one other thing that I realized that I needed is somewhere to hang stuff. Like hang my different pieces of gear, like if things are drying or if I just don't have a table to set everything on. So I made something. It's basically like just a rope that I can string up from tree to tree, and it has these hooks on it that you will be able to see in just a minute. And I haven't found a good way to store it yet, so it's probably going to be a mess and a pain when I get wherever I'm camping, but I don't know, maybe you can see that. Here you go. It has these hooks that I made just out of some galvanized wire, and I just attached some paracord with a prusik knot to the little hook and got these all up and down the rope. So I just string this from tree to tree, and I got these like a dozen or so of these big giant hooks. I can hook my PFD and bags and blah 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 and everything else, dry bags and stuff, hook this to it so that it doesn't have to sit down in the sand. Maybe it'll work, maybe not. I hadn't used it yet, it's just something in theory. So be sure to check out my next video of my next trip and see how that worked out. And I may have to do a video on just this because I haven't ever seen anything like this before, and now I just balled it up and it's a big mess. Fabulous. Now, one other thing I have is my PFD. I just bought this for this trip because I knew that I wanted to be the kind of person that always wore a life vest because it's safe, and I've got a little boy now, and so it's just smart to not risk your life because this can certainly save your life. But I bought a Stolquist Trekker life vest. I, of course, read a lot of reviews on Amazon and watch YouTube videos just like I'm guessing you're doing. Check out what gear I need, and This thing, it wasn't the cheapest, but man, it's awesome. And it wasn't the most expensive by any means, but I bought it because it's made so you can be real agile. It's like you're not even wearing it. You know, I could do anything in this thing. It's got these big pockets on the front. I can keep stuff in. Like here I have, this is like my emergency kit. I just thought, okay, it's going to be cold, and I'm going to be kayaking by myself. What happens if the worst case scenario, or one of the worst case scenarios that I could think of would be, okay, what if I flip over out of my kayak and my kayak gets taken down the river and all my gear, all I'm left with is what I'm wearing. Well, I'm going to be wet, it's going to be cold, I need to get warm real quick, so I need to start a fire. So I had like an emergency fire kit in my life vest at all times. I had some cotton balls soaked in Vaseline, a flint and steel, and a lighter, and some zip ties just in case I need to make an emergency repair or something. But I always kept that on me, and it weighs nothing. And here I have a whistle, compass, thermometer. If you can see, that came in handy because it was nice to see how cold it was in the mornings when I woke up, because it was freezing some mornings and raining, and I was wet. Check out the video. But I had a great time. The video is awesome. But here, this is a little case, a little soft case for my camera that you're watching right now. That's an Olympus Tough TG 850. It's like waterproof and all that. It's not a GoPro because I'm not really fond of a GoPro because it doesn't have sound like you're listening to here, and it's not waterproof when it has sound. You gotta have sound. But anyways, this is a case that the camera can go in. And also, you can see this will hold a burrito real good if you watch my video of my camping trip. And here I've got some sunblock attached to the PFD. And that's about it. That's about it. Awesome PFD. Oh, and I've got this seat. This little tripod. Oh, here we go. You got this little tripod, you know, these things you find at Walmart or wherever. They're cheap and, you know, they're made for hunting or whatever. And it worked great. I mean, no, it didn't work great, but it worked. But the problem I was having, you know, I was sitting in dirt and in sand and mud sometimes, and so it would start, you know, sinking, or one end would go down or just sink and get low to the ground. So when I got home, I researched, like, man, I wish I had a better one of these. Well, I researched, and the company MSR, who turn out make a bunch of my gear. They have different companies. They have this awesome seat that I really want, but it's like $100. I actually wrote them an email to say, will you send me one for free? And they didn't. But I would really like to get one sometime in the future. Might be one of my next purchases. One of the things I struggle with is my map case. I bought this one from Walmart. It's like, I don't even know who makes it. I think Outdoor Research or somebody who doesn't really care about. I'm sorry. This is a decent map case. Although it did leak a little bit, but it could be because I was opening and closing it a lot and fighting with it. But the reason I bought a new one is because this isn't even the size of a piece of paper. I had to take these pieces of paper because I printed out my maps because I'm cheap, and just printed out from Google Maps, my maps along the way. And I was going to put them in here, and I had to cut them all down to size to get them to fit. And even when I did them down to size, they were still fitting in here tight, and it was so hard to get them in and out, especially when it was raining and they'd get wet and sticky, and it was aggravating. So I came home and I bought a lot bigger map case. You can see right here, this one will fit a whole piece of paper. And this one's made by Sea Line, reputable company who makes good map cases, so I think I'm going to enjoy splurging and getting the decent map case. I don't think it was that expensive, like 15 bucks, maybe. It could be more, but stuff like that. Okay, well that's about it. Thanks for watching my video, and please check out my other videos. Like, I got one on this awesome gear locker here that I store all my camping stuff in that I built. It's pretty sweet. And also my 3-day kayaking trip down the Chattahoochee. Awesome video. But you can find them all and more on my YouTube channel, Sailing and Such. And don't forget to subscribe and check out my upcoming kayaking videos. This summer I hope is going to be awesome with some good videos, man. I'm excited. Me and a buddy, we're wanting to go to the Florida Keys, and there's some more rivers around here that I want to go on, and down around the Gulf, around Panama City, Pensacola, Destin area. You know, I want to do some trips down there, so I should have some good stuff coming for y'all. And one other thing I want to mention is I had a company actually the first time this has happened, sent me these t-shirts. It's called Cool Tan, and what they actually do is you can get a tan through the t-shirt, which is pretty awesome because no one really likes a farmer's tan. I know I don't, but I kind of have one now a little bit. But the company sent me the t-shirts. They're like, hey, try these shirts. Tell us what you think about them, and maybe make a video. I was like, okay, sure, I'd be interested in doing that. So I've got plans for later on this week to go and do some kayaking. I hope I can get away and do it, and maybe go to a local lake and do some kayaking and try out the t-shirt and see how well it works. But they sent me two, so I'm going to give it a shot and hopefully have a review of these videos coming up. So if you're interested in these t-shirts, check them out. And plus I'm going to have like a coupon. You can get $10 off. Pretty good deal. So like I said, check out my YouTube channel and subscribe and get ready for some more videos. Thank y'all for watching, and God bless.